Roll down the window, I need some air. Blasting the music, they stare. I'll get me diamonds, hey baby, I care. Too much about it, I dare. You to try me, homie, listen here, there. All that you do is just stare.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are blessed to have once again the current women's tag team champions here on Raw. But tonight, this match isn't just any other ordinary match. Tonight, we see the debut of an extraordinary tag team here tonight on Raw. I hope you enjoy what you all will see tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another great episode of WWE Raw in here tonight. Oh my goodness, that is right. We're going to start this off with some tag team action. And who are we seeing here, ladies and gentlemen? Bear witness to Fatal Attraction making their debut on the big brand here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Jacy Jayne from NXT, Fallon Henley from TNA, and Gigi Dolan, who was signed to Raw and just, shelved. And here tonight, she makes her return. They all make their return back to the ring here tonight. And the crowd is loving this here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd has a love the toxic stable Jacy Jayne had to now to Fatal Attraction, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel like if these ladies play their cards right, they could be as dominant as they never been before. And here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Unholy Union putting the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions on the line. And that is right. Ever since they became the new Tag Team Champions, they have been the fighting Tag Team Champions. Why? Because week in and week out, ever since they won them, they continue to fight like they're still trying to win them. And the Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, was down in NXT, but management saw something in them. And honestly, I'm now seeing the bigger picture because, ladies and gentlemen, this team is one heck of a team. They are badass. And, I feel like they're going to continue to dominate the tag team division. Well, we know who the crowd is cheering for. And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these women have been going back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. And honestly, I give them their credit for that. Because Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae weren't really doing that. The Triangle of Terror, who were the previous tag team champions before Indy and Candice LeRae, they were also fighting champions as well, but they were dominant.
And for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, introducing the challengers, Gigi Dolan and Jacy Jayne, Toxic Attraction. And their opponents, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Unholy Union.
The Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, looking ready here tonight. Another match, another victory under their belts, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think they are phased at all. And as we continue with this match, ladies and gentlemen, the Unholy Union Fatal Attraction here tonight. With both of the women missing, here. And now Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and takes down Isla Dawn. Both of the redheads going at it here tonight.
Tag is good.
And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, with the, oh my goodness, making her land right on her neck. And you know that has to hurt, but JC Jane is a strong one because she continues to apply pressure onto Isla Dawn. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, send JC Jane to the corner. And what is she thinking of doing? Oh, and now she sends her to the other corner, ladies and gentlemen. And now Isla Dawn just eyeing JC Jane here tonight. Oh, and turns her around. What does JC Jane? Oh, now we know what she wants to do. Doing some damage to the arm. And now JC Jane sent Isla Dawn to the corner, but no, Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, evading that one, and she put her in the corner instead, and a slap by Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen, straight to the face of Isla Dawn, and oh no, she tried to punch Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen, and down goes the referee and Isla Dawn. And now JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, rolling in. Oh my goodness, taking her down, ladies and gentlemen. JC Jane on fire here tonight. And now we see JC do more damage to the arms of Isla Dawn. Oh, never mind. And Isla Dawn quickly. Ooh. And Isla Dawn just tosses JC Jane and a brutal knee to the face. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually waiting for Alba Fire to be tagged in here tonight. And now Isla Dawn sends JC Jane to the corner, ladies and gentlemen. And now she tags in Alba Fire. And JC Jane and Alba Fire in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and Gigi Dollins reversing every attack that is being driven her way. Oh, and JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, going for the cover here tonight in such a unique way. And a big boot to the jaw of JC. And now she's just laughing at Gigi, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and she missed that punch. And now she was able to connect, but Gigi has other plans instead. Oh, and Alba Fire from the middle to the top rope, ladies and gentlemen. On a dive to the outside and landing straight on Gigi. And Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen, continues to do damage onto JC Jane. And now, ooh, JC Jane blocks that one. What does JC Jane? Oh, and a big boot to the face of Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen. And now she goes for that cover. And no, she was not successful on getting that win here tonight. You know, if they do win, they automatically become the new women's tag team champions. And now Alba Fire put JC Jane in the corner, ladies and gentlemen. And a brutal forearm to the freaking jaw of JC, ladies and gentlemen. And now Alba Fire tags in Isla Dawn. Ooh, and Gigi Dollins quickly taking down Isla Dawn. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, was able to kick out here tonight. Ooh, and Isla Dawn dodged that one really good, ladies and gentlemen, and down goes Gigi. And Isla flexing here tonight. She is feeling herself in this match. All right, over to the top and a slam by Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful move. And now Fallon Henley, ladies and gentlemen, distracting Isla Dawn so Gigi could slowly make her way back up. Ooh, and she dodged that one, ladies and gentlemen, but Gigi did not dodge that one, and she took a brutal knee to the gut. Oh, now Gigi was not able to do anything here tonight. And Gigi getting back up, and Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, took down JC Jane. And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, with a brutal elbow to the chest, and now she goes for the cover. And no, JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, breaking the pin right at 2. You know, they would have lost this match if it wasn't for JC breaking it up just on time. And now what does Isla Dawn have in mind? Doing an uppercut to the face of Gigi. And now Isla Dawn, ooh, and running knees to the freaking body of Gigi. And a stunner to the outside, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and a slap onto Gigi, returning that slap from earlier. And now Isla Dawn with the big kick to the back of Gigi Dollins, and now just kicking and stomping her here tonight. And Fallon continues to be the distraction here, and the point where Gigi Dollins could get a breather really quick. Ooh, and a big kick onto Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen. Now Alba Fire back in the picture, and Gigi Dollins with a brutal clothesline onto JC Jane. And no, she tried to go for a kick of her own, but no, a DDT she was met with. And now look at Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope. And a big splash, crashing down onto Gigi, ladies and gentlemen. Can they retain? And no, Alba Fire stopping the pin, ladies and gentlemen. And another big boot onto the face of Gigi. And now both of these women come back inside, and a big kick to JC Jane. Now Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no. And Isla Dawn with another slam onto JC Jane. She did the first one onto Gigi, and now JC Jane felt the pain of this one. But like always, ladies and gentlemen, 3 is bigger than 2, and they have the extra person, they have the advantage, and they take it, and I don't blame them. They're doing what they need to do, but referee Chad Patton, ladies and gentlemen, is telling Fallon Henley to get out. And now JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, reversed that one from Isla Dawn. And a big elbow to make her way out of that one in JC Jane. Oh, and now JC Jane goes for the cover, ladies and gentlemen. Can they become new? And no. And Isla Dawn quickly takes down JC Jane. And a spear onto Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and JC Jane returns it with the clothesline, and she freaking hit her with the meanest elbow to the face, and I know it rocked her, but Alba Fire quickly comes in with the save. And now Alba Fire, JC Jane put Isla Dawn in the corner, but that did not work out, and now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope, and a splash onto the outside, crashing really hard on JC Jane. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, sends JC back into the ring. Now she's going to the top rope once again in a freaking stomp onto the gut of JC. And now she takes Gigi out of the picture, ladies and gentlemen. And now what is Gigi? Oh my goodness, and a splash. Oh, and JC Jane down goes with that slam by Gigi Dollins. Ladies and gentlemen, can they retain? And they do.
Here are your winners, and still WWE.
The Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off Raw in such a banger of a way, ladies and gentlemen. And still the tag team champions.
Adam, I want to talk to you about a certain faction here on Raw. I keep hearing rumors that the Judgment Day keeps talking trash about their losses Saturday nights. And honestly, me and my family tree won't stand for that. So I don't care who's available in the Judgment Day. We want them in the ring tonight. Listen to me, Solo. You and your family tree have every right to feel the way you do, especially if these rumors are true. The downside is that Damian Priest is nowhere to be seen after Saturday nights. So I'll do this for you. I'll gather who I can from the Judgment Day, and I'll make it possible for you.
As we continue with more action, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight, we continue with more tag team action here on Raw. That is right, we continue to see the Bloodline make their presence known here on Raw, ladies and gentlemen. And here tonight, they're going to be facing off against Finn Balor and JD McDonough.
On the way to the ring, at a combined weight of 439 pounds, the Raw Tag Team Champions, Tongarua and Tamatona, the Bloodline.
And Jacob Fatu, who is the TNA X Division Champion, ladies and gentlemen. The new enforcer of the Bloodline, making sure that nothing happens outside of the ring.
So bad!
And the more we see these men, ladies and gentlemen, the more damage and carnage they plan on doing. Solo Sikoa has worn the whole WWE universe, ladies and gentlemen, and not just that, but the whole of TNA as well. They have been threatened by Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Judgment Day. Damian Priest is not here tonight. Finn Balor said that he did not need Damian Priest by his corner. But here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he needs JD McDonough. I mean, they're really good friends. I should have saw this coming a mile ago. You know, they lost the Raw Tag Team Champions.
At a combined weight of
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Finn Balor is tagging up with JD McDonough, a good friend of his. And here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I think this will be a good tag team. You know, we're used to seeing Damian Priest and Finn Balor, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, we have seen JD McDonough in a few matches teaming up with Carlito and whatnot. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he's gonna be at the full of his abilities here tonight. He's gonna be performing at the best of his abilities, I should say. Why? Because he has a chance to actually climb up the ranks with Finn Balor and, you know, capture some tag team gold. As we get this matchup started, ladies and gentlemen, JD and Tama Tonga are going to start this match off. I mean, Tonga Loa. Oh, and JD McDonough quickly takes him down in a stomp to the chest. And now JD sends Tonga Loa to the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and a chop. And Tonga Loa, ladies and gentlemen, ooh, just crashing into him. Ooh, he dodged that one. Oh, and Tonga Loa goes for that roll-up, ladies and gentlemen. Can he get it? And no. I think it's a little too early in the matchup. Ooh, and a big knee to the face. And now JD McDonough, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope. And the freaking double stomp. The coup de grace. He learned that by Finn Balor, ladies and gentlemen. And Tonga Loa quickly kicks out at 2. And now JD McDonough, ladies and gentlemen. And once again takes him down in a stomp onto the gut. I mean the chest. Ooh, and Tonga just slamming him down. Ooh, and Tama Tonga, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and Finn Balor was not able to dodge that one, ladies and gentlemen, and down goes Finn Balor. And JD McDonough slowly getting back up. And a brutal headbutt onto the chest of Tama Tonga, ladies and gentlemen. JD piecing him up with some elbows to the face. And now we see JD McDonough. He puts him in the corner, and what is he thinking of doing? He tags in Finn Balor, ladies and gentlemen. Former Raw Tag Team Champion here tonight. Ooh, and quickly takes him down. Tama Tonga did not see where he went. Ooh, and Finn Balor dodged that one, ladies and gentlemen, pushing him to the side. Oh, and now Finn Balor putting his feet, oh my goodness, and just stomping his knees, ladies and gentlemen. And now he goes to the top. Ooh, he was not able to land that, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, he landed on his knee. But he continues to fight through the pain, ladies and gentlemen. And a Pele kick, ladies and gentlemen, goes for the cover. And no. Finn Balor looking desperate out there at this point. And we gotta admit, man, this new bloodline is pretty tough, man. They're not forgiving. They won't forgive and they won't forget. And whatever they do to you, just know they already planned it and they agreed to it. So these men are vicious. Solo Sikoa is not playing around with his new bloodline. He's not like Roman Reigns with the bloodline where he just wants all the power. Nah. He wants Solo Sikoa wants all the power, but for him and his team. And Tonga Loa missing that one, ladies and gentlemen. And now here comes JD McDonough. Oh, and now JD McDonough, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and no, Tonga Loa. He was smart. And he probably saved himself from his something getting crushed deep inside. And now Finn Balor puts Tonga Loa back inside, ladies and gentlemen. And now JD McDonough sends Tonga Loa to the corner. What is he gonna do? And another chop. Now, JD McDonough is being brute here tonight. He's not taking it easy on his opponents. He's actually putting force, putting brutality, and whatever punch, kick he throws, he means it. Ooh, and a big kick to the back of the head. Oh, and Tama Tonga takes down Finn Balor. And now Tama Tonga puts JD McDonough in their corner. Now tags in Tonga Loa here for some double tag team action. Oh my goodness. And JD looks out of it here tonight. And Tonga Loa tags in Tama Tonga, ladies and gentlemen, for more tag team action here tonight. Oh, and this time they're taking him to the top, ladies and gentlemen, and down he goes. No, I just know JD is not getting up from these recent attacks. Oh, and Tama Tonga, ladies and gentlemen, with the elbow drop, and now he goes for the cover. And Finn Balor quickly saves it. And JD McDonough was also smart enough as well. Ooh, and brutal strikes, forearms, elbows to the back of the neck of JD McDonough. And now here comes some more double tag team action, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, and the tongue and twist here tonight. And now Tonga Loa goes for the cover, but I don't know if JD is going to kick out, and he doesn't. And now just look at those replays, ladies and gentlemen. After this move, JD McDonough went downhill, and he was not himself. And the Bloodline, ladies and gentlemen, picking up another victory here on Raw.
I hope you know that very soon, this whole business will run on Tiffy time. I am coming for your champion, and any other that I can get my hands on. I know you got your big main event at Mania with Becky, but I deserve a championship opportunity. Maybe not tonight, but soon I will get. And I don't care if it's you or Becky.
You talk a big game for someone whose last memorable run was with Nikita. You reached your peak in NXT, and now in the big leagues, you're nothing. Because this is my throne. Me and you have gone back and forth multiple times, and tonight, I don't mind running it back one more time.
As we continue with more action here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That is right, we're going to be seeing the current Women's World Heavyweight Champion.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, representing the Judgment Day. From Adelaide, Australia, the WWE Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley.
And Rhea Ripley, ladies and gentlemen, more dominant than ever. And here tonight, in a no DQ match here tonight, she's going to be facing off against Tiffany Stratton. And we know that this match is going to be a banger. Why? Because we've seen Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley in the ring multiple times. And Rhea Ripley is always ready for war. She is always ready for a fight. And ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany Stratton making her entrance down to the ring. And Tiffany Stratton, ladies and gentlemen, a rising star who has been growing really quick, ladies and gentlemen. Her fandom from NXT to now has just been growing exponentially. And, you know, it's only
And her opponent from Prior
the
Lake,
road
Minnesota,
that I see for Tiffany Stratton is the road to success. Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green continue to prove that they are the pillars of the new women's generation. They are what we call the workhorse of a woman. And ladies and gentlemen, as we let this match settle in here tonight, Rhea Ripley versus Tiffany Stratton, one-on-one, no DQ. Ooh, and Rhea Ripley quickly overpowers in a clothesline, quickly onto Tiffany, and now wiping her feet, calling this light work. Ooh, and Tiffany returns it with a double big boots to the chest of Rhea. And now Tiffany, ladies and gentlemen, what is she planning on doing now that Rhea Ripley and both women locked up once again, ladies and gentlemen? And Rhea Ripley once again continues to overpower Tiffany Stratton. And Rhea Ripley just has Tiffany Stratton. Oh, and Tiffany does the switcheroo on Rhea Ripley here tonight. Oh, and Rhea Ripley takes her down with that arm drag. And now, ladies and gentlemen, has her in a headlock here tonight. Rhea Ripley literally wrestling circles around these women. And she does it here tonight with Tiffany Stratton in the big the big knee to the head of Tiffany. Now look at Rhea Ripley, ladies and gentlemen, and tosses. Oh my goodness, it's Becky Lynch. It's Becky Lynch, ladies and gentlemen. Running down to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, and Rhea Ripley stares in disbelief. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in a manhandle slam onto Rhea Ripley, a shock. Rhea Ripley, ladies and gentlemen, and now Tiffany Stratton is taking the advantage and goes for the cover. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Just look at that replay, ladies and gentlemen. Becky Lynch ruining it all for Rhea Ripley here tonight.
Here is your winner.
And Tiffany Stratton. We don't blame her, ladies and gentlemen. She reminds me of Edge, always striking for the perfect opportunity.
I am glad you lost the United States Championship because you didn't deserve shit anyways. When you won that, I became your #1 hater because you don't deserve anything in this company. Not even that mask.
I deserve any champion, and I deserve this mask because it's in my last name and in my family as well. You've been gone for like 10 years, and now you're back thinking like you got it. You don't got anything but your hands on my balls. Cara de pendejo.
I'm not going to allow you to talk to me like that, you dirty bastard. I'm married to a Latina, so I also learned a few words myself. Tonight it's going to be me and you in the ring, cabron, and I'm going to kick your culo.
As we continue with more action here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that is right. We're going to see Dirty Dominic Mysterio here tonight go one-on-one against CM Punk. Former U.S. champion Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, making his return. Well, not tonight, but he made his return at Saturday night's main event after being attacked by Drew McIntyre.
Representing the Judgment Day from San Diego, California, weighing in at 200 pounds, Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
And it's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Rumor has it that Dirty Dom has been dirtying around in the locker rooms, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the rumors of Dirty Dom. But here tonight, the crowd boos him, ladies and gentlemen. All on his own. Rhea Ripley, we just saw before this match. We saw Finn Balor and not Damian Priest, but Finn Balor and JD McDonough before that. And here tonight, we see Dominic Mysterio, ladies and gentlemen, all by himself. No signs of anybody. But here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Dirty Dom is all by himself. Everybody just booing him, man. And he never got the approval by his dad to wear the mask. He just donned it like he owned it, like he was the one that made that mask famous. And now here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, the best in the world, the one that is chasing the WWE Undisputed Champion, the one that holds and hangs around Seth freaking Rollins' waist. And here tonight, as we get closer to WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, the main event is gonna be CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not know if it's gonna be an ambulance match or what, but the sooner that we get closer to WrestleMania, the sooner we will find out on the more matches and stipulations of WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2.
218 pounds, CM Punk.
And CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, walking in here tonight, and oh my goodness, Seth Rollins just walking him down here tonight. And now we got referee Chad Patton calling out security and staff out here to separate Seth Rollins, ladies and gentlemen. Attacking CM Punk here tonight. And now Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't know what to do here tonight. And the crowd chanting his name, and he just wipes his feet. The disrespect, ladies and gentlemen, is real. What does he have in mind here tonight? And he totally missed that one. I think it might be his hair that gets in the way. And now Dirty Dom was not able to do anything here tonight because CM Punk was able to move out just in time. And now Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope and an elbow drop. He was not able to connect here tonight. And a DDT connected by CM Punk. And CM Punk already taunting Dirty Dom here tonight. And CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, has Dirty Dom and a suplex. Oh, never mind. Yeah, a suplex, a Falcon Arrow suplex, ladies and gentlemen, and Dirty Dom quickly gets up and takes him down. And Dirty Dom showing his agility in the arm drag over the top, and now he goes for the cover. And the main event, ladies and gentlemen, Stone Cold against Penta for the U.S. champion. Stone Cold was feeling himself, and he said that he wanted Penta in a match here tonight, that it was a dream match of his. And CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, with that power bomb onto Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I gotta say, Dirty Dom's hair is pretty long. Ooh, and a DDT by CM Punk. Oh, and now CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the top. And a big splash onto Dirty Dom. And now CM Punk just chilling in the corner, waiting for Dominic to make a move. Oh, and look at Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, and a body slam onto CM Punk. Two big kicks onto Dirty Dom. Oh, and now we got Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, at the top. Oh my goodness, and no, lands right on the shoulders, and CM Punk with the powerbomb. And now CM Punk, I think he is trying to put Dirty Dom to sleep. Now he puts him at the top turnbuckle, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and I think he's gonna go for a big suplex from the top. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Dirty Dom quickly with the possum pin here tonight. And CM Punk kicks out right before 3. That looked like it hurt. And now CM Punk picks him up and a slap and a chop and a kick and a kick. CM Punk is going all out here tonight against Dirty Dom. And now we see CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen. He sends Dirty Dom to the corner, ladies and gentlemen. What does CM Punk have in mind? And CM Punk continues to do damage here tonight and continues to punish Dirty Dom here tonight. Without his crew, Dirty Dom isn't that strong, ladies and gentlemen, and he is proving it here tonight. He's a sneaky one for sure, but without the Judgment Day, ladies and gentlemen, Dirty Dom, he's limited to what he could do. And both men trade blows back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. And both men go at it, ladies and gentlemen, just throwing punches at each other non-stop. Oh, and Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, he's gonna go for the 619, and he connects. And now Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the top and a frog splash straight down onto CM Punk. And now he goes for the cover. Oh, and no, ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk continues to do damage here tonight. And the GTS and no. Dirty Dom is able to escape that one, ladies and gentlemen, and Dirty Dom goes to the top rope, and no. A failed frog splash, ladies and gentlemen. And CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, puts Dirty Dom in the corner. Ooh, and Dirty Dom reverses his way out. Oh, but some back and forth action here tonight. Oh, and CM Punk looking to connect with another super suplex, and he does. And CM Punk flexing here tonight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, trying and going for that elbow drop, and he connects. Oh, and now CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, and a GTS connects straight to the jaw of Dirty Dom. And now Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen, slowly getting back up. Oh, and no, he was able to escape that one, ladies and gentlemen. And Dirty Dom was not able to connect with that successfully, ladies and gentlemen. And GTS connects onto Dirty Dom, and he looks knocked out cold. Can CM Punk pick up the victory? And he does. CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, it's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and now CM Punk. CM Punk waiting no longer, ladies and gentlemen, walking down the ramp, down to the stage where Seth Rollins is at. And now, oh, look at this. CM Punk approaching Seth Rollins. And the punches start landing, ladies and gentlemen. Seth Rollins and CM Punk going at it here. Back and forth. This war is not stopped. The hatred they have for each other is real, and not even security could hold them back.
As the new United States champion, I proudly, once again, hold that beautiful champion again. I think this time I'm doing things differently. Less talking, more action. And I have someone in mind who talks less and does more. Penta El Cero Miedo is someone who I can relate to very much. I am a man who shows no fear and fears no one. I will even put my newly captured United States champion on the line. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
As we continue with the main event, ladies and gentlemen.
It's scheduled for one fall. That is for the WWE United States Championship.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this match is about to be a banger. We got Penta, who made his debut last week, ladies and gentlemen. And here tonight, he already has a championship opportunity, and that is for the U.S. champion. And Penta here tonight, making his way to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, the best kept secret of the business is now here, and he is just on time for the road to WrestleMania. And the crowd is down with Cero Miedo, ladies and gentlemen. And here tonight, Penta versus Stone Cold for the U.S. champion is about to be a banger in the main event. You know the impact that Penta has in the wrestling business, has people on the chokehold and the business on the chokehold, ladies and gentlemen, because literally a week after his big debut against Seth Rollins tonight, he goes up against Stone Cold Steve Austin, who Stone Cold himself said it. This is a dream match for him. And here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Penta really has a high chance of winning this match here tonight and becoming the new U.S. champion. I think they like Penta more than they like Stone Cold here tonight.
Introducing the challenger from Ecatepec, Mexico, weighing in at 87 kilos, Penta! And his opponent from Victoria, Texas, weighing in at 252 pounds, the WWE United States Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen, looks ready and locked in like always. Winning the U.S. champion on Raw, ladies and gentlemen, after Saturday night's main event. And you know, Drew McIntyre even said it himself. You know, he put it out there, and now he had to face what he had said. And you know, Drew McIntyre was not able to, you know, retain. Why? Because Stone Cold Steve Austin was always a step ahead of him. And here tonight, because of that outcome, we have Penta versus Stone Cold. Ooh, and a big chop by Stone Cold Steve Austin, ladies and gentlemen, onto Penta. And now Penta reverses that one. Down he goes, over the top. And a big kick that makes Stone Cold Steve Austin twirl in the circle. Oh, and Penta from the middle rope, ladies and gentlemen, showing his lucha libre abilities here tonight. And I just wonder how his lucha libre abilities is going to match up against the Texas Rattlesnake. Oh, and Stone Cold with the side slam onto Penta, down onto the ring. And Penta's outfit here tonight, a sparkly red, ladies and gentlemen, and lands that crossbody. Now he goes for the cover. And no, he was not able to capture U.S. gold. And Penta landing that leg drop, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and Stone Cold blocked that one. Ooh, and down goes Penta. And a big boot straight to the jaw of Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen. And now Penta, what does he have in mind? Oh my goodness, and a big boot to the jaw one more time. Oh, and Stone Cold, he caught that one, ladies and gentlemen. And now Stone Cold sends Penta to the corner. And what does Stone Cold have in mind here tonight? Oh, and he didn't like that corner, ladies and gentlemen. He put Penta in the other one. And Ron Zapata here tonight for the main event match. Chad Patton, I think, had enough of all the action and all the chaos that is the road to WrestleMania. I honestly would have never thought that I would have seen Stone Cold and Penta in the same ring, ladies and gentlemen. But this match, a crossover of wrestling and the wrestling freestyle, which is lucha libre, ladies and gentlemen, I think they kind of match each other perfectly, because Stone Cold, his brute physicality and his powerhouse force against Penta's high flying, it kind of makes up for it. Because we know Penta could fight hard, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen him fight throughout the whole world, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the whole U.S., throughout Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, and we know that this man could land them punches and chops like he could land anything else, ladies and gentlemen. And now Stone Cold, and no, Penta kicks out at 2, ladies and gentlemen, showing that resiliency of the Mexican luchador, ladies and gentlemen. And Penta gets right up, ladies and gentlemen. And now the back of Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen, felt that, you know, here tonight. Ooh, and the big chop onto Stone Cold. And now Penta, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, getting the crowd riled up here tonight. And a dive over the top rope. Crashes down onto Stone Cold. Doing damage to the arm of Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen. I think Penta is locked in here tonight, and the crowd is also behind Penta here tonight. I don't think I've heard a Stone Cold chant or them cheering for Stone Cold. I think mostly they've been cheering for Penta, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and Penta from the top, ladies and gentlemen, making his way around and landing on Stone Cold onto the outside, ladies and gentlemen, and the crowd is loving it here tonight. And now Penta, ladies and gentlemen, feeling it here tonight. I know he's hyped up, and down goes Stone Cold. And now Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen, takes down Penta here tonight with such force. Stone Cold, we know that he has upped his game, ladies and gentlemen. He has been away, and but this whole time that he was away, not just this prior getaway, but before he even came back to win the U.S. champion, Stone Cold was rehabilitating his body back to wrestling peak. Well, not at his peak, but back to where his body could wrestle, take damage, and be okay. Oh, and Penta caught that one, and Stone Cold, ladies and gentlemen, and Penta quickly takes him down. And a stunner connects onto Penta, ladies and gentlemen. Can Stone Cold retain here tonight? And he does. And just look at the replays, ladies and gentlemen. Penta putting it all on the line with his high-flying moves here tonight. Penta was not able to capture gold here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but Stone Cold remains champion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching.